To discuss the challenges Islamic State poses for Washington, let's cross live now to Daniel Shaw from the Answer Anti-War Coalition. Mr. Shaw, thank you for joining us. Despite the growing controversy, we hear constantly from U.S. officials that they're not ready to stop supporting Syrian rebels. Why do you think is that?
Well, it should not come as a great surprise that the United States would be supporting what is sheer terrorism. The United States has a long history of supporting terrorism in Libya, in Central America, across the world. They fear the last vestige of sovereign territory, which Syria is in the Middle East. They've already been able to dismantle the central Iraqi state and the Libyan state, and now they're going after Syria.
How much control does Washington have over the factions of rebels that it supports, do you think?
Well, a lot of control. It's so cavalier and arrogant on the part of the defense secretary that he would say that these rebels can't live up to U.S. expectations and stuff. They've long trained these types of terrorist groups, and they control them because their intention is to dismantle the central Syrian state, which they can't control. It's not a sphere of their influence. And when they first supported ISIS, it then spiraled out of their control, and they created a sort of Frankenstein that they could no longer control, which spilled over the border into Iraq and has come back to create a great deal of havoc.
Do you see any clear strategy in Washington to defeat Islamic State?
Washington's primary aim is to defeat Bashar al-Assad in the central Syrian state. And now that's why they find themselves trapped, because they've created something that they can no longer control. So Washington is extremely confused at this point, and they're responsible for a horrific, almost unimaginable amount of suffering from Syria to Iraq. In this area, they have created this instability, which they now lament. And they're in a very cavalier way. They've stated publicly in the New York Times and elsewhere that they have funded and supported these terrorists going on years and decades now.
U.S. officials often refer to the moderate and radical fighters among the Syrian opposition. Is it really that simple?
Well, certainly we see that there's big splits in the opposition to the Assad government, but it's certainly spearheaded by the most radical forces. These ISIS forces don't believe in any type of democracy. They want to implement a type of society that's not tolerant of other types of religion. It's really an archaic ideological formulation that they encompass, and the United States has supported that because they thought originally it was a strategy to get rid of Bashar al-Assad, which has been their intention the entire time.
Mr. Shaw, that's all the time we have for now. Thank you very much for your comments. This was Daniel Shaw, an anti-war activist.
Thank you.